This is session 4, and it obviously kind of goes along with what we're trying to do. We're trying to lose weight, we're trying to lose kind of fat, and that's what the 2 grams a kilogram body weight protein is there for, the veggies, the fruit, the increasing steps, trying to look after sleep as best as possible, and thinking about creating a small deficit. Yep. If those, key 5 things, 6 things are followed, you'll lose weight. Yeah, it's as simple as that. If you nail it almost, say, like 99%, then you'll probably, perhaps lose not quite a bit, but you'll maximize your fat loss potential. Okay, if you're kind of amber into it a little bit, then yeah, you might lose weight, but it might not be as much as you could have. Okay, and that's totally up to anybody and everybody's own priority, own life, all that kind of stuff. Okay, but that is the AA route planner. That is the secret, or the way to kind of lose weight, healthy, safely, etc., etc. Okay, so that is the blueprint, and you can refer back to that blueprint literally anytime, in 2 weeks' time, 2 months' time, 2 years' time. That is still going to be the same way. The best way for people that are fairly active and teach classes to kind of lose weight. All right, that's it. I know there's might be a couple of people in the Kickstarter where weight loss, fat loss is not the priority. It's kind of, if you can lose a pound or 2, great, but it's more about energizing for the classes. It's more about making sure you got energy, recovering, having a bit of clarity and all that kind of stuff as well. So, that's where you apply literally exactly the same kind of thing, but then you look at being either in a net maintenance or in a surplus, and making sure that protein and carbs are your 2 most important macros there as well, because they are your performance and recovery macros as well. Okay, so everything is there. In terms of this session, much like the last session, session 3, it's the information, it's that clarity, it's the insight, it's the bill of knowledge that's going to help not only you as the fitness professional, fitness coach, but also help your participants and your members, because you will end up being, or not end up, you are their fitness role model. Okay, so whether it's just stuff in the gym, sorry, I'm watching my cat open the door. Whether it's just stuff in the gym, class studio, people look at you because you're up in the front, you got the mic on, and you're teaching, so you're the role model. Or whether people are following you because it's on Facebook or Instagram, your dialogue, your food habits, just how you interact with people, how people want to talk about drastic diets, and you can now give them a little bit more, insight, a little bit more help, and essentially try to get as many fitness professionals or fitness coaches and members of the general public away from that extremism, trying to mix up 2 words, diet, culture, lifestyle. Okay, where it's just going round and round in that kind of cycle. You're not really getting off that kind of spinning wheel, as it were. Okay, so the fat rebound cycle. This is something that, again, obviously generic diets will be able to kind of provide, and it's always worthwhile kind of sharing, because this is why you can end up with I'm sure we all know somebody who will say or has complained that they are fairly overweight, but will just look at a donut and gain weight. They're just snacking and all that kind of stuff, and they find it so hard now to lose weight, but the history shows them that they've been on a restrictive diet cycle, for the last 5, 10, 15 years. They probably have been the prime targets for the quick detoxes and the flush and the toxins and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is what's happening beneath the surface, as it were. All right, so the fat rebound cycle. Let's jump in. So accountability check-in, as always, for anybody looking in. Keep looking at that sort of checklist, the habit tracker. That again is like your blueprint for being successful. The higher percentage, the higher chance you have of kind of maximizing your own lifestyle, your own diet, your own nutrition, and weight loss and fat loss as well. Okay, it's not only a case of just looking at the numbers and thinking, oh, that's good or that's bad. It's asking that question: where can I improve? Where can I improve? Okay, and it's not looking to improve to be perfect. It's looking to improve by 5% or 10%, okay, and slowly build it up to where you come to a point where, say, you rate your food choices and your lifestyle and your body confidence and all that kind of stuff. Say if you rate it down at something like a 4 out of 10, okay, and every week you're nudging it up 1, it's 5, and then it's 6, and then it's 7, and then it's 8, and then somewhere, hopefully around maybe the 8 number, somewhere around about there, you're going to think to yourself, what, this is fine for me. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I've got flexibility in my diet. I'm not weighing and measuring every food. okay, but I am looking leaner. I'm looking more toned. You know, I've got a bit of shape about me, loads of energy for classes, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that freedom to lose another 2 pounds, kind of thing. Okay, so everybody will have that point where, unless you're now a professional athlete and about to step on stage or something like that, we're all going to have that part where, like, yeah, this is the balance for me. You know, that kind of work-life balance, that kind of, you know, prep balance versus flexibility balance, you know, and everybody's got their own point. There is no right point, but hopefully you'll be making the steps forward, improving, you know, better food choices, better lifestyle, better habits, etc., up to a point where you think like that, yeah, this is for me. And that may be a 7.5, 8.5 out of 10. But guess what? You know, 8 out of 10 is a shit lot better than 4 out of 10. Okay, so it's never that perfection you're choosing. It's just the fact that you're now living that life that you really want to kind of live, you know, being in control, feeling confident, but without having to stress about, you know, those finite details about, you know, all the small stuff that a lot of other, you know, your elite body physique people are gonna be looking for, because that's not us, right? That's not what we want. We want to, you know, something a bit more flexible and enjoyable. So fat rebound, jumping straight into it, 10 minutes into it. Fat rebound, what is it? Okay, essentially it's the regaining of lost body fat through the body's internal signal to store as much energy as possible, which results in a higher increased weight gain higher to the starting point, essentially. Okay, so for ease, you say start at 70 kilograms, you do a restrictive diet for, you know, a couple of weeks, go really hard on the diet, restrict, omit foods, drop out carbs, all that stuff, then regain up to like 75. Okay, that's fat rebound. And then when you do that again, you're starting at 75, drop to 70, boom, up to 80. And all of a sudden you find yourself on this ever increasing the body weight cycle, okay, where you're just gaining weight, unwanted weight, and gaining fat, and you just really, and what you end up doing is getting a bit more, you know, yeah, a bit more desperate, a bit more like, what do I need to do? You know, I've tried that didn't work. Right, I'll try that, and then I'll try that, didn't work. And that's when you get that bit of demographic that will literally hop from diet to diet instead of really addressing, you know, the kind of lifestyle more than anything else. All right, so that's essentially what fat rebound is. An example, I'm not going to read that. I'll just leave that up there for a few seconds. I'm just going to close that door because the wee one is sleeping next door. So I want to keep that door shut as best as possible. Have a quick read through that. Kelly. I'm sure, you know, I'm not a big Oprah fan by any means, but I certainly know when Oprah first kind of came out, you know, she was kind of fine. She was kind of normal, you know. Sure, if you really were picky, you could maybe say she could have done dropping a couple of pounds, if anything, but she was hardly in a position that she needed to diet. And then unfortunately take the wrong bit of, you know, advice. Initially successful, and that's where the kind of green light comes on. Day 3, lost 2 pounds, whatever else, you know, straight away you're thinking, you know, you shouldn't be losing 3, 4, 5 pounds within a couple of days, because that's not healthy. That's water, that's muscle, and whatever else, you know. So, and she ended up putting herself, I remember, you know, being to the point where she was really overweight, you know, probably on the obese kind of side of things. So that's it. Okay, that's a prime example. What the fuck is going on? Okay, so essentially, as I mentioned already, excessive restrictive diets, aka the shortcuts, the fads, the detoxes, all that stuff, the stuff that is really, you know, too good to be true, kind of stuff like that. Okay, what you're essentially doing is you're teaching your body to be very efficient with a low amount of energy coming to the body. Okay, so it's that whole thing. I always use the analogy about the car, you know, travel and stuff like that, right? So it's like having a full tank of gas or diesel, whatever, a full tank of diesel, and driving from Edinburgh down to London. Okay, now imagine you only top up your tank to half, right? So you put in half the amount of fuel, but you're wanting your body to do, or the car to do the same journey. Okay, so you're still traveling that 600 miles, whatever else, but you're only giving it half the fuel. Restricted dieting, much the same. So instead of taking in 17, 18, 19, 2,000 calories, you're now jumped on an 800,000, 1,200 calorie diet, but you're asking your body to do the same thing, right? It's only going to last for so long before you and your body go like, fuck off, I'm not doing that anymore, okay? And that results in a bit of a binge, a big Friday night takeaway, you know, whatever else, okay? Oh, and then it's the self-blame, it's the self-defeatist, you know, language. Oh, you know, I just can't lose this weight and it's too difficult and I can't do it. And it's all that self-blame as opposed to actually looking and thinking, well, it's not me, it's, well, my choice of that diet. You're trying to, you know, me, if I'm trying to approach that diet, that's the wrong thing, okay? So it's just the wrong choice of nutrition approach more than anything, because that's not a great way to kind of go about it. Now, particularly when people try to increase the output by doing more classes, more training, you're putting the output up and then you're dropping your energy, you know, that's just an absolute disaster. So it's like trying to redline your car on like fumes, okay? It's just going to splutter, it's going to give up, okay? So yeah. And what you're doing, if you remember, you know, some of the cars, you know, had that kind of eco button where you just decreases performance, decreases at the acceleration. You know, some of the cars have the little button of sport mode, normal mode, and eco mode. And you put, if you put your car in eco mode, it'll be a slower acceleration. You know, it's just not as responsive. Okay, that's the same thing. You're almost, you know, shitting on your metabolism and teaching your body to be efficient. Yeah, because now it has to use 800 calories to get through the day, 2 classes, 5,000 steps, and then like walking on your feet all day for like another 15 hours kind of thing. Okay, so it's having to be really efficient with that small bit of energy that you're kind of giving it. So you're also priming your body to store food as energy when you resume normal eating. Okay, it's essentially a bit of a survival mechanism to starvation. Now, again, mentioned it, I don't know, session 2, perhaps thinking back to, you know, caveman days and stuff like that. Okay, you know, when humans were created, when our bodies and our cells and all the things that our bodies can do were created, they weren't thinking a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 kind of thing. Okay, that hadn't been invented yet. So our bodies were a storage, you know, implement. You know, so it didn't know that we were always going to get fed every 3-4 hours. All right. So now if you start restricting or doing a lot of like fasting kind of stuff like that, you're not giving like the body's signals and awareness that you're expending way more than you're taking in. Okay. What do you think is going to happen when eventually you reach that 5-day point where you go, this is enough. You go on that binge, you know, it's the weekend, you've had 5 days of pure misery on 800 calories while you're trying to teach classes and stuff like that. Come to the weekend, your partner, friends, hubby, whatever else, ask, right, takeaway, right, should we go out for dinner, a few drinks, and then it's all just like that, okay? What do you think your body's going to be wanting to do when it gets all that fuel in? Thinking that it doesn't know when it's going to get its next consistent level of kind of energy, you know, next decent meal in. It's going to hold on to that as much as possible because it doesn't know that it's getting another meal. It doesn't know that it might be going on another restrictive diet literally the very next day and whatever else, okay? Because you've been basically kind of mucking up your kind of eating patterns and your energy intake. So your body is almost priming itself by 2 ways, by increasing the size of existing fat cells, right? So the fat cells literally get bigger to store more fat in them. They'll also increase in size, increase in number, beg your pardon, okay? So you actually, you stimulate, you prime, you hit the on switch. If I had an on switch here somewhere, you hit the on switch, make more fat cells, okay? That's what you're doing when you're going to those really, really shitty restrictive diets or a 3-day detox, all that kind of stuff. So when you kind of go back to what you regarded as normal eating at 1,800 calories, okay? The body is going to hold on to that. So it doesn't matter the difference that you don't even need to go crazy to up to the 3,000-4,000 calories. The food that you intake again, you know, after that period, it's going to hold on to it as much as possible because the body's like it's a self-preservation thing. Yeah, because it doesn't know, because it's just been on this crazy diet, this starvation restrictive diet. So in order to preserve itself, it's going to hold on to as much energy as it can, and its best place to store energy is in your fat cells. Yeah, so that's why it's a priming, you know, and it's frustrating because people that are doing it don't know they're doing it, and then they sit there and scratch their head going, how am I getting fatter all the time, kind of thing, you know? And all I'm really doing is going from, say, 1,800 calories down to 1,000, and I'm going back to 800 calories, but I've just regained that last 5 pounds so quick, and I've put another extra 4 pounds on, right? You've heard those conversations all the time And that's essentially what's happening. And people get really demoralized, you know, a bit desperate and really bummed about it, really self-defeatist, confidence takes a nosedive and whatever else, okay? And it just feels like nothing works. But generally it's because they've been kind of going to those things. And what you end up having to do is then diet harder to lose that same weight again. Okay, so it's harder to lose that body weight. You're having to go to more extremes to actually get rid of the body fat. So you end up just making life really, really difficult. Okay, so consequences, as I said, it's easier to store fat, all right, and it's harder to lose it again. So it's one of those ones where initially, if you never dieted in your life before, you want to lose a few pounds, you can do that fairly easy. But say 10 years, 5, 10, 15 years after kind of dieting, yo-yo dieting, all that kind of stuff, you're going to battle. It's going to take you a lot longer, and you're going to have to be a lot more in a much steeper deficit to lose that weight again, because your body is clinging on to that for like a dear life. Okay, and now you've got to try and get it out of more muscles, more fat cells as well. You've obviously mucked up your T4, T5 metabolic hormones a little bit. Okay, because you've been trying to teach your body to be really efficient. So it's never like a great thing to kind of do. Okay, we want to be, you know, a calorie burning furnace, if you think about it, right? We want to be that kind of like red hot steam train that when we chuck in food, it just burns it up. Okay, because we're living that kind of lifestyle. So, you know, calorie partitioning straight to muscle cells. Okay, fat cells haven't been primed, haven't been increased in size, haven't been increased whatever else, and that ends up giving you a much leaner, athletic body shape. Okay, and hopefully, again, you hopefully maybe know somebody in the gym or through friends or something like that you're a bit envious of. You know, they seem to be eating like anything and everything all the time, and they still keep lean, like that bitch kind of thing. Okay, that, you know, that guy, that whatever. How do they do it, kind of thing? Well, they've probably not gone on one of those diets, I can assure you, okay? And they've probably had good fruit, good veggies, high protein, all this kind of stuff for that. They probably do a bit of weight training and maybe a bit of HIIT kind of stuff. And they are literally going to eat, you know, lots and lots and lots of food, and they'll never gain much kind of weight, you know, or much kind of fat. So that's the opposite. That's been very inefficient. And that's kind of more the goal than being the kind of efficient line. Life becomes a bit of a misery, because no matter what you try, it always seems to be just, you know, it's a very short-lived success, you know, and then all of a sudden the wheels come off. It's unsustainable. Desperate attempts mean more extreme and quicker fixes. And what happens after that kind of point is that you probably end up inadvertently doing things that are going to really damage your kind of health, because you're getting that kind of desperate. You know, it starts off thinking, oh, I'll just do that. Then, well, that didn't work, right? What else do I do? And then it's just that cycle where you're going to end up, you know, doing really, really harmful things like the detoxes and the water flushes and all this kind of stuff like that, you know. And that essentially lies the kind of rebound cycle, or the fat rebound cycle. Okay, so it's just rebounding, lose a bit of weight, rebound, lose a bit of weight, and then you're never really getting to where you kind of want to be. Okay. Kelly, do you know of anybody, you know, that maybe has been along that kind of path perhaps, or does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I'm not a fitness professional, but actually one of my colleagues in my day job, I reckon she lost about 6 stone nearly, Slimming World. And I hadn't seen her throughout lockdown, and we had a meet-up recently, and she's put it all back on and a little bit extra. And I think she's been like, she must be 50 now, so she's done that throughout her whole adult life, I think. So yeah, this is exactly where I would imagine she's ended up. Yeah.
And it's, you know, and certainly not to kind of bash anything like the Weight Watchers kind of Slimming World. I mean, they kind of got the pros and cons by all means, but what ends up happening is that the client or the person never really looks at the method or the approach as the problem. They look at themselves as the problem. So they beat themselves up a little bit, or I just got to try harder, or it's all my fault, you know, kind of thing. But it's like, you know, it's through a good intention, but you've just chosen the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a thing. It's like trying to do like a mountain bike cross rally thing in like a road bike. Okay, it's just going to be hellish. It's not because you've chosen the wrong thing. It's a bicycle, but it's not fit for purpose, if you know what I mean. It's not the best thing that you're using for, but you end up blaming yourself, kind of thing. And that's where that bit of self-defeat is. And then the confidence comes down, the food relationship comes down, you know, and then there's a food anxiety because you've been taught that a cookie is bad, a donut is horrendous, you know, and then there's this whole disorder eating thing that kind of comes into it, a bit of food anxiety, a bit of guilt, and all this carry on where, you know, oh, I can't tell my slimming club world, or I think Weight Watchers do a weekly or fortnightly check-in, you know, or have my sins and all this kind of carry on, because I went and had a cookie when I met up with my friend at Costa, and you're like a 40-year-old man and woman, like, come on, in fact, you're almost getting like handcuffed and chained to this diet culture. And I, like, personally, I fucking hate it because I enjoy food so much, you know, and it doesn't need to be like that. So when you see people that end up getting kind of handcuffed to this diet culture, you just you know, got to try to fix it, got to try to sort it, sort of thing, you know. But yeah, best thing for you. So essentially, for anybody that has been on any restrictive diets, okay, and a lot of clients sort of come through have been on, you know, at least I would say a good 75 to 80% people have tried something in the past, and that's fitness professionals, fitness coaches, you know, and that's expected because most fitness coaches once upon a time were a fitness member, participant, you know, and that comes from just being in general public, you know, and you kind of move through that kind of pathway. So, and that's all that we really know, to be fair. You know, we're not coming from a sporting scholarship athletic background. There might be a few, but most of us are coming from that gen population. So that's all we know. We all know Slimming World, Weight Watchers, but we don't know, you know, things like reverse dieting and stuff like that, because that's something a little bit separate. That's from a different world of fitness and nutrition almost, you know. So the best thing for you, obviously, for any friends, family, other fitness friends, colleagues, instructors, etc., is to avoid the drastic diets. Obviously, I know it's easy to say that, but try to avoid them as much as you can. Now that you've got a bit of that logic and know how why we kind of say that, because if we say that, a lot of people will think, oh, you're saying that because that's opposite to what you do, kind of thing. So of course you're going to say that. You know, you're not going to promote drastic diets when you're trying to coach the unsexy, fucking boring shit. Okay, so. But that's the kind of, you know, science behind it, as it were, okay? Try not to follow Oprah or Gwyneth Paltrow, obviously, for your nutrition advice, okay? Gwyneth with her, I can't even say some of the things that she's been doing, okay? But like alkaline drink, and then there's other things that just don't even bother with, okay? Just don't even bother with, okay? Value your body and create emotive connection to what it deserves, all right? So that is things like saying, you know, I'm a fitness professional, I'm a fitness coach, you know, I want to be an authentic role model. I deserve to treat my body well. I deserve to fuel my body. I deserve to nourish my body. You know, I want more passion and more fitness, more fun and more magic for my members, you know, all those kind of things, as opposed to like punishing your body or restriction or looking at food as a bad thing. It's changing that mindset and that approach to thinking, you know, I deserve to eat well and I deserve a bit of flexibility, and like I want to be fueled, I want to be, you know, empowered and like passionate and full of, you know, zest, and not be bound by these silly rules about what's a good and bad food and kind of stuff like that, you know. So you need to correct that emotive thing, because the emotive versus logic thing is very, very kind of important, as we mentioned like in the last kind of session, okay. So it's very well to say logically, but we need to make that emotive connection, okay, which is why in a lot of our kind of goals and stuff, it's why, because unless you have the why, it's not going to last that long, okay. And also keep following the boring and the sexy stuff that we have going on in Group X. Best thing for your members, obviously, is to follow your example, okay, and that's not trying to be kind of too pressure or anything like that, but that's generally your example, because you will be more of a role model than a lot of people realize. Educate and inspire them to see what healthy living is like without the roller coaster, you know, cycle and diets, and show them that lean athletic is easy achievable with the right approach. All right. You know, I don't like to use myself in many of these kind of things like that, but it's plenty of clients that have kind of done it. You know, just really enjoying your food, and people would be, you know, Nikki will kind of know, you used to work at the kind of peak, you know, going there and on the lunch break from like working in the gym, I'll be having literally anything and everything from foods, you know, cookies, donuts, scrambled eggs on toast, you know, whatever else. And people will keep saying, it's like really, you like a bit of cake? And you're like, fuck yeah, I like cake. Of course I like cake, you know, but you can still be fairly lean and athletic with a balanced diet, you know. It's just that consistency. So, you know, you can role model that. You can show people, look, I'm still eating this. It's, you know, the whole if it fit your macros thing went to the extreme, because every time that somebody mentioned that, they'll just show you the cookies and the ice cream and the junk and stuff like that. But I can guarantee you they weren't eating that all the time. Okay, that was just what made Instagram look really cool, because showing a normal nice healthy meal is just not that cool. So they could say, look, more pizza, more this, more that, whatever else, you know. How to lose fat without the rebound. So this is exactly what we've been kind of doing. Okay, so this will not be a surprise. Slow and steady for me wins the race. All right, so small deficit. If anything, eating all the macros. Again, we're avoiding the food omission restrictive diet thing. It's a healthy balance. We understand that we need all the macronutrients, right? Our body is really important. Our body is our business card almost, you know. It's our thing that that enables us to do what we love to do and teach fitness and stuff. So eat all the macros, set protein fairly high. So again, those guidelines that I put down there, I was like 1.6 to 2.2 sort of thing. But yeah, you know, around the 2 ballpark is going to be really cool. And that's fairly achievable. I know for a lot, it's like, you know, that's a lot. But if you think about 3 meals with about, you know, 25 to 30 grams, that's easily achievable. And then if you want have some milk or a whey shake, you know, every now and again to bump it up to 120, 130s, easily done. You know, you can hit 100 grams protein with no bother whatsoever. Create the habits to create the lifestyle change, improve your self-worth and your value. So again, it's that empowerment, it's that emotive connection that we're looking for. And remember the 6 KPIs. Okay, 6 KPIs, we're talking about the energy, mood, body shape, body dress, body composition, sleep. Also was there, yeah, I think mood and sex drive were kind of intertangled. You know, all the other things besides just body weight. Okay, body weight is one of the 6 things, and if you need to remember that, remember Nicole and kind of Leslie, body weight stayed the same, but complete body shape and athletic kind of transformations. Okay, so body weight's handy, but it's not the be all and end all. All right, so how are we doing? About 34 minutes in. So yeah, how's your habit tracker score? So again, you've this is what kind of day 10, as it were. You have a rough idea as to how you're getting on this week so far. This is, you know, day 4 out of 7 of week number 2. It's the week that we're going to kind of iron out the small, the little kind of bumps and getting used to things after the kind of first week. So this is like your first real running week at it, getting things all up and running. Everybody would have no doubt watched the first couple of sessions, so we know what we're aiming for. And as I said right at the start of this session, you know, your double body weight, you know, protein, your 3 veggies, your 2 fruits, your water, your hydration, and your consistent net calorie deficit over the week. That's it. Yep, nail the crap out of those 5 things and you will lose a couple of pounds easily, right? Absolutely easily. Everything else is habits to make sure that you can sustain that and make that as long lasting as possible. Okay, like Ashley did. She lost whatever it was, 6 pounds in the first 3 weeks, and then she continued on to lose another 9 pounds. So it was just over a stone, I think, in total, right? And that's the goal. Okay, and always looking at the growth mindset. What can I improve on? All right, it'll be really clear there. You got all those kind of squares. Where's the big gaps? Okay, so if for your fruit, out of the first week you only hit it twice, next week aim for 3 or 4. Yeah, if you do that to everyone again, it's that cumulative gains that we mentioned right at the start. All right, and do you deserve it? Yes or no? Well, it's obviously a yes. Okay, so you know, that's it. There's you know, there's no real kind of pressure from me or anything like that. That's just your goal, your journey. You know, I'm just giving you as much stuff as possible to kind of help you along. And that is it. Habits become lifestyle. So this will be habits number 7 and 8. What can I do daily to set an example for my members and clients? Okay, so yeah, what can you do daily? Could it be, you know, a bit of accountability for your kind of self? Would it be just having discussions with anybody off the kind of gym, just to ask about their fitness, their health? What are you doing? You know, and they might say, oh, I'm doing this diet and the shakedown. You can, well, listen, maybe that's a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea. Or this is what I'm doing. You know, just say to them, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm just increasing protein, getting a little more fruit and veg in, and this sort of, you know, I did a bit of tracking, you know, kind of stuff, and this is where I'm at, kind of stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm feeling much better, blah blah blah, kind of stuff like that, you know. And again, just role model that to them, like lead them through that kind of inspiration phase, you know. But yeah, think about it. We are fitness professionals. I know some of us perhaps are really taking on board, thinking, yeah, I am, and I enjoy that role. Some of us might be a bit of a reluctant role model, where you're thinking, look, hey, I'm just here to teach classes, right? Don't look at me, kind of thing, okay? But one way or the other, people will be kind of looking, you know, at you and us as the fitness professionals and role models. So just think about what you can do daily to set an example for your kind of members and kind of clients, all right? Because it'd be good to, like, you know, people can say, I asked Susie, you know, and Susie's doing that, and Susie looks great, you know, and she told me that she was doing X, Y, Z, and I'll be doing that, and I feel really great. That's only going to add to your credibility, to your knowledge, to everything else, okay? And particularly if anybody has that business of a bit of PT or anything like that, then it's only going to help that as well, okay? And it's certainly not going to harm your class numbers anyway as well, okay? And that is it. So thank you very much, Kelly, for joining me on this lovely Thursday evening. Everybody else, this will be getting sent out. We'll be getting it on Friday morning, so I'll just wait for it to Zoom to do its thing. I'll upload it to YouTube again, and then send it out on Friday morning. I'll be sending another email out on Sunday evening, excuse me, with the habit tracker number 3 and your 3rd and 4th freebie kind of goodies, your week kind of ebooks that can help along as well. So I'll be coming out on Sunday. Session number 5, I think, is Monday morning, 10 a.m. probably, and then we kind of hopefully charge into week 3 as best as possible, okay, best as possible into week 3, and then we'll see where we're at with that. So 2 more kind of valuable sessions. Session 5 is all around about mindset, okay. Session 6 is pretty much going to be a bit of a Q&A and how to kind of move on, okay, how to tweak your macros one or the other as well. If you're going to be increasing kind of classes, say months down the line, or if you decrease the class as well, just how to kind of maneuver those kind of goalposts slightly as well. So try to give you everything you need to kind of like continue on to day 22 forward, all right? So last week happening then.